I'm sure many of us know someone, if not you, who's felt uncomfortable talking about religion and money or just have feelings of shame or guilt about it. Welcome to Yahweh's Money, a podcast where we discuss the crossroads or intersections of religion and money. We're going to go deep into topics like tithing and saving and debt and so much more from the religious view. I'm your host, Shay Cook, CEO and founder, Crusaders for Change, LLC, and our co-host is Vanessa McNelley, one of our financial counselor, coach, educators. Let's talk about God and money. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Yahweh's Money. I'm Shay, and we also have Vanessa, our co-host. Hey Vanessa.
Hey Shay, how are ya?
I'm good. A new year, trying to just, see where it goes. Hopefully it's good and positive and blessed and joyful and all the above, right?
Exactly, and it's already speeding by. That's the thing.
I know. It's already 10 days in, but
goodness.
today we're going to be talking about sustaining your New Year's money goals beyond the hype, right? Because there is a lot of hype around resolutions and goals this time of the year.
Right.
Research shows that nearly 80% of people lose their motivation just weeks after setting their goals for the new year. Vanessa, what's going on?
That just shows me that we know how to stick to things. No, I think people have really good intentions, but then we just get busy and life gets in the way again, which is just another excuse. But yeah, I think also we are so used to quick fixes that things that take time, we're just not used to doing them. So we don't have the motivation to stick to something.
No, because by the end of each year, only 9%. It's so sad. And I'm one of those goal setters say they have been successful at keeping or achieving their resolutions. This is why I don't even deal with resolutions, because I'm like, I don't want to be a part of the 9%, or the 80% or any percent. I just want to do what I know I'm supposed to do. How did 9% keep those resolutions? They created a plan, put it into action, and they didn't make excuses like Vanessa said. They didn't give up. The word says, Luke 14:28, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? You got to make sure you do have a plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. I think so many people they just have these thoughts and these whims, and it's just like, I'm gonna buy a boat. I'm gonna, whatever it might be. And you don't think it through, and you have this idea and you talk about it, but that's about as far as you get with it. But yeah, you have to create a plan. So any type A people out there, I'm sure you are a lot better at keeping your, your New Year's resolutions than the rest of us.
Or I am a type A, but I can make a great plan and then it just sits there and I don't go back to it like I'm supposed to. When you make a plan, or you got to go back to it regularly, review it, reevaluate, and readjust when necessary. So things can go or change or go very quickly from January to February. If you do not go back and review it regularly, reevaluate, and readjust, it has to be a living plan. Things happen in life, you have to readjust. So I know for me, it's like, when I really, 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 with the three reallys, it ain't, because if it's just one really or really, really, it has to be really, really, really set my mind to something. Then I'm like, all right, I got this.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay, really, really,
right.
But it has to be that really, really, really. And then I'm like, all right, I got to lose this weight. I got to save this money.
Right.
But if I have a really motivational goal behind it too, like, oh, I want to go on this trip in August. Like, I'm all hands down sacrificing, not buying stuff, saving for stuff. It's on, right? If I really want to wear a bathing suit on the beach by the summer, man, I got that body that's ready. Get it up, But I have to have real motivation behind it. How about you?
Yeah, so I'm kind of the same way, but I'm a master planner. I love planning. I love making itineraries. I love writing things down, but that's usually where I stop too. It's like I will plan, but I need other people to get excited about the plan, to kind of be there with me through it. It's like if I just make this plan and nobody's excited, nobody wants to work through it, or nobody else is like, let's do this together. I'm just going to let that plan sit there too. I feel like I'm good at creating it, but the follow through, definitely not there, because then I just go create a new plan that I don't follow again. So
We are the same. Yes, my twin. I am the same. And it's as I get older, it's like, okay, I'm done making plans. Cause you get to a certain age, it's just like, I've done this plan several times.
Right.
Like, I'm tired of trying to lose the same weight
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah.
Gain, lose, gain, the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of having to save for this. I need to make sure I have a real, a automatic saving. So this goal is automatically saved for each year because each year I want to go on a trip. Why do I have to read? I mean, unless it's more expensive, but even still, like I think automatic savings is great. Having that automatic transfer set up, that's one of those tools you can use to make sure, like with holidays, my nieces and nephews, I mentioned this before, they expect me to give them a certain amount of money because I save for it,
right.
and so I want to make sure it's automatic. So out of mind, out of sight, so I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
I wish it was that easy with weight loss, but it's not.
Me too. Oh my gosh, me too. Yeah, and I think people don't really think about planning for things or thinking ahead for next year even or later this year.
Yeah.
Now is the time to start thinking and planning ahead for the rest of the year. Like that spring break, that summer vacation, Christmas. That's another one we can start
great time
thinking
in
about.
January. Yes, really.
Exactly. So if you can create plans, do it ahead of time. I mean, gosh, if you do it one year, just keep going. Keep
Just
doing
keep
the
going.
same thing.
Yeah.
Make it a habit. Like you sit down and you have these conversations. I was reading something the other day about really effective couples who, work well together. And most of them sit down together at the beginning of the year and they create a plan. They talk about what works for them, what they don't like, what they want to change, what they can help each other with. And I'm like, we need to do that with all aspects of our life.
All aspects, exactly. Personally, professionally, relationships, everything. Our money,
Exactly.
our spiritual time,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like to you, whether it's reading a Bible or whatever religious text you're reading, getting back into a religious, place or institution that you attend, whatever that looks like, giving and serving. You got to have a plan for that. It just, you can't just be like, all right. I mean, you can be like, all right, I'm just going to do it today. But, if you have a goal behind that, like I want to serve, or I want to give this amount of money to a homeless shelter or to a church or wherever, you have to have a plan for that. Yeah, definitely. And when we achieve our goals, whatever they may be, we change for the better. So we may feel a higher sense of purpose in life, which can inspire us to want to do different things in terms of spending and saving and giving. So, that's what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and this is the part of this that I think we kind of stop at the make a plan and do it. And then we move forward. We forget about why we're doing it and we forget about what's going to be better when we do follow through. And there's so many good things that can come out of this, not just the weight loss or the extra money, but there's all these things that we can gain.
Exactly. And from that clarity and that motivation helps you want to move forward with that higher sense of purpose in life. And
Exactly.
again, this is all about money and religion, but we talk about so many other topics in between there. And whether it's I keep saying weight loss because that's a goal of mine, so I'm probably going to refer to that all throughout this episode.
Yeah.
So that is number 1, 2, and 3 goal for this year is weight loss, which will also help me save money
Well,
because I won't be
yeah.
eating so much.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that's what I've been noticing too with my grocery bill because I've been trying to do the same thing. And it's like I'm
Yeah.
saving a ton of money on groceries right now.
Yes,
But
exactly.
yeah, but when you think about clarity, so if we're not worried about that big thing anymore, our minds are a lot more clear and we can focus on other things because we're tackling something. And then the motivation. If we can create one goal, stick to it, and get through it, we're going to be motivated to do other things because we have
So
something
true.
to compare it to. We've done it in the past and we know we can do it, and we're a lot stronger than we think we are.
Yeah, exactly. I just started reading this great book, Atomic Habits. It's amazing. I'm only a couple chapters in, and I'm sure I'm not going to get all the quotes and phrases right, but they talk about this motivation and like habit stacking. And so if you're already, saving for one goal, like you're saying, then you're going to be like, all right, how can I save for another goal? And I'm sure that's not the right reference for the habit stacking, but I'm taking that, I'm sure, totally out of context. But there is so many ways to build on different habits that you're already doing and just seeing, because you're like, oh man, this is already working, let me try this, or I'm already I don't know what the habit may be. Like, you already wake up,
Right.
you brush your teeth, and you're like, all right, before I go get my morning coffee, let me put out my workout clothes so I know that I will work out that day. Just one step towards moving towards that. So you can do that financially, you can do that spiritually, you know, and obviously talk to God about all of this. We have to mention that because he's here to serve you, and not serve you. You're here to serve him, but he's here to support you is what I meant, not serve.
Exactly. Yeah, he's our biggest cheerleader, you know, with all this.
Biggest cheerleader. Exactly. And according to Greater Good magazine, having purpose staves off stress and can help you turn challenges into learning and growth. Right? I mean, makes sense to me.
It really, yeah. And that's, I mean, let's sit with that for just a second. You know,
yes.
having a purpose. What is our purpose? And I think that's something we struggle with our entire lives, is kind of figuring out what our purpose is. But I think this is talking about those small things. Like, there's a lot of things that we can have purpose with. Like, our purpose can be to make sure our kids do the best they can in school by having breakfast ready for them in the morning so that they can go to school on a full stomach, or making sure that we take time to talk to our employees during the day to see if they're doing okay at home, not alone, you know, not just at work. But there's all these small little purposes we can have in life. It doesn't have to be this big life altering thing. But, you know, that can make us get up in the mornings and say, okay, it's going to be a good day because there is purpose in today.
Exactly. Yeah, and definitely. And, you know, having purpose of finding your own purpose in yourself. Like, yeah, you want to take care of family and others and stuff. For me, it's like the self-care, right? Knowing that I have to take care of myself. There needs to be a higher sense of purpose and putting Shay first, or putting God and Shay first. Right. So I can take care of myself so I can take care of others. So a lot of times I would say as women, we put ourselves to the side and take care of everybody else. So
we don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about, Shay.
I wish that was true.
I know.
We suck at taking care of ourselves.
We really do. We learn it too, like, far, like, down the line in our lives, that we do really matter, and we can take better care of everybody else if we take care of ourselves first.
Because our mamas did it, and our aunts did it, and our grandmothers, and all these women in our lives, they need to do better. They got to take care of themselves. But yeah, putting that, saying like, you know what, my purpose in life is to take care of myself and then everybody else. And that is hard to do and hard to say, because I wasn't trained that way. It's not innately in
guilt.
me to take care.
There's so much
and
guilt.
There's so much guilt and shame. You know, what are you doing taking care of yourself? Why do you look much better than no. I should be taking good care of myself, and then that all flows down. Right. But anyway, that's another episode.
Yep.
So increase in your self-confidence. So, you know, accomplishments like making or many are lacking when it comes to reaching financial goals. Like, we are lacking when we're, you know, not increasing our self-confidence, you know, then or not having the self-confidence, you're most likely not going to reach your financial goals or any other goals, because you're feeling that shame or that guilt or whatever internally, and then you're not feeling motivated. It all goes back to the motivation, then goes back to the clarity. So it's all connected.
Yeah. And if you don't have that self-confidence, that's when we say, you know what, like, I'm never going to do this anyway. I'm just going to go order pizza, or I'm going to spend my money on XYZ because it doesn't matter because I'm not going to get there anyway. So that self-confidence also helps us to achieve more goals, because we're like, you know what, I don't need this. I can do this without, you know, XYZ, whatever that might be, because we know we've got it and we don't need those things to be happy.
And in sense of control, I always tell people discipline, self-control, sacrifice are all important in accomplishing financial goals. There has to be self-control as part of that equation, because then, like you're saying, Vanessa, you're just going to be out there doing whatever and not even trying to make a difference or change or accomplish a goal, because you have no self-control, which is very, very important. And then realizing, to me, is the sacrifice is huge. Like, I'm discipline, self-control. I pretty much got that in most of my life.
Yeah.
Except sometimes, you know, I don't know. because I always go back to the cheeseburger. Obviously,
Mm-hmm,
that's a
mm-hmm.
self-control issue. But then it's like sacrificing, like, all right, you can do one cheeseburger every
Yeah.
few weeks or quarter, but
Yeah.
sacrifice that cheeseburger and eat that salad without all that dressing.
Right.
That's gonna pay, many benefits in the future,
Yeah.
health wise, weight wise, and so
Right.
forth. So that sacrifice is huge.
And that's something, sacrifice and self control. I think that is something we struggle with a lot because a lot of
Mm.
us don't know the difference between needs and wants.
Yeah.
There are so many people who are like, I need a very nice sports car. And the reality is
Mm.
yes, you need a car to get to and from work, but you do not need the fancy sports car. It's
Yeah.
something that we've imposed on ourselves. So we
Mm.
have to learn what sacrifice is. And I think as people are coming up and you have teenagers and young adults who don't see the stepping stones of I need to
Mm-hmm.
work my way up to things, and they see,
Exactly.
okay, everybody has a nice car. Everybody has a nice house, which is not the truth. The
Not
reality
the
is
truth
the
at
bank
all.
owns the house. But
Exactly. And the car
exactly,
and the jewelry
exactly,
and
right,
everything else. They don't
right.
own nothing. It's all
Exactly.
fake.
Exactly. But they don't
Yeah.
understand that sometimes, and most of the time, it takes sacrifice to get there. We have to do
Yes.
without one thing so we can have another thing. And it's
And the
okay.
sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that hard work is sacrifice.
It is. It
You
sure
have to
is.
work your behind and put in the work and the
Mm-hmm.
time and the
Mm-hmm.
energy and sometimes even the money to get where
Right.
you need to be. It's investing in
Exactly.
yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes time. It's okay to have the beater and then the Ford and then
Right.
the Audi or Mercedes or Tesla or whatever.
Right.
But you got to
Right.
step and you got to, like Vanessa saying, you got to step into it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
just come out of the womb and get into a
Right.
Tesla or a
Right.
Mercedes or whatever, Lamborghini. You don't
Some of us
know.
do, but no, I'm just kidding.
You
Uh,
20-year-olds, you
right. Right.
freaking millennials, now Generation Zers. I'm sorry. We need to do a whole
A
episode
whole
on the
rant, yes.
generations because there is a whole issue, as I feel about these youngins coming out here like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get a job and make $1 million tomorrow. Yeah, that don't happen.
Right.
Even the YouTube star people, they take their
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber didn't come out and just make $1 million. Like,
And
come
he
on, people.
sacrificed a lot to get to where he's at
So
too. Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I was hearing about Bow Wow. Remember the little Bow
Mm-hmm.
Wow, now Bow Wow, the rapper?
Yep.
He was talking about how he didn't get to go to prom and do all these things. Like that dude was
Mm-hmm.
rapping with Snoop Dogg when he was like 4 or
Right.
5 or whatever. He was
Right.
very young. And
Right.
it's like he didn't get to experience all these joys that these kids
Mm-hmm.
get to because he had to work. He had to be in the
Exactly.
studio. He had to be out on tour with Snoop Dogg and them. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have to, but he chose that. And
Right.
so that's why he's able to have the nice things now. That
Mm-hmm.
was like 20, 30 years ago. So it's just
Exactly.
like,
Exactly. And
so
we
I don't know. I just
practice,
sorry.
yeah, we practice
It's yeah.
self-control too. And then
Yeah.
it's like it's second nature to us. The self-control
Yeah.
is second nature. And we don't feel like
Yeah.
we're sacrificing anymore because we understand that you have to give up one thing to get another.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we already kind of went in this, but improve focus and productivity. To me, that's work. That is working hard.
Yeah,
You have to have that focus on
you
that goal,
do.
that mindset, and know that there has to be that prioritization of those goals, and they
Mm-hmm.
have to be efficient and
Mm-hmm.
realistic. We always talk about the SMART goals. They have to be specific and measurable and attainable and
Right.
realistic and timely. You're
Mm-hmm.
not just gonna, even though I kind of said this to my daughter on accident and she ran with it and now I realize it was an accident. You're not gonna come out of college making 50, 70, 80. Some people do, but the majority does not come out
Right.
with a bachelor's making that kind of money.
Right.
And so you have to realize you might have to volunteer, you might have to do an internship or whatever it may look
Mm-hmm.
like, or just take a job making $15, $20 an hour. You're not gonna come out making that kind of money. So you have to be smart about it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And if we are improving, efficiency and, we know how to prioritize things, that we can make choices and focus on what's
Mm-hmm.
important first and know that
Exactly.
sometimes other things are going to fall off, but it's okay because we
Mm-hmm.
get those important things done, the things that really, really matter.
Yeah. And you really will find you can accomplish more financial goals in less time while also achieving better quality results when you're focused and and having that sacrifice and all of these things we're talking about, which leads into enhanced resilience. You become more resilient when things don't pop off the way you want. You're like, oh, I want to save for this, but my car broke down. I had to use my savings. I always hear people like, how am I supposed to save if I always got to use my savings?
Right.
Well, I mean, eventually the equation works out and you will have the savings. But sometimes you should just look at it like, thank God I got the savings to pay for my car or my refrigerator or whatever broke down.
Right.
And maybe you have to move that trip back from August to October. I don't know. But, it's okay. That's just the way things happen. And so, but you become more resilient with that and adapt.
Exactly. And this is something that I feel like I've been taught a lot in my life is the whole resiliency aspect because, I was able to, or I had to struggle a lot when I was younger. And, my parents were always like, we didn't know. And it was like, it's okay that I had to struggle when I was in college and when I was younger and do without, because there have been times in my life where I've had to struggle again. And I had the resiliency to do that. And I knew how to do it because I'd been through it before. And it didn't seem as hard because I understood and I knew that I could still have a good life on less because I was resilient and I had done it before. And it's just that muscle memory. You can go back to the simple things and you're okay and you're just as fulfilled, but you're also making progress.
You're making progress and you're adapting to it and learning problem solving skills, all of the above, right? And the resilience is key because, like you said, that muscle memory, but also being grateful for the challenges in life and being able to persevere. Because then it's like, I've always got stuff going on. Yeah, but guess what? You're building up this resilience. You're coming out good and strong on the other end. God's gonna use all of that for your good. That's in the word, people. So it's like, it's important to be grateful. Even when we're going through those challenges, you're going to go through the storm and you're going to come out. You're going to build up that muscle memory. You're going to be strong. You're going to be resilient. And that's the same with goals. Yeah. Sometimes you're like, man, I just can't continue down this path. Like I'm always building up a savings and using it. It's like, that's what it's for. But also eventually, like you're going to break through all of that and you're going to be able to build up that savings and then hopefully invest and build a better future, wealth, whatever it looks like for you, legacy. And, it all comes from that resilience and that persistence.
Right. And if we keep finding ourselves back in the same place, then obviously we're not learning the lesson throughout all of this.
I used to always say that too. Yes.
So, there's a lesson that's to be learned with all this. And it's, we can have nice things and we can do wonderful things and we can have, these great memories and moments, but there still has to be sacrifice with some of this. And it's so hard for us to know that we can't have everything. We have to pick and choose, and it's okay to pick and choose. So we have to know that from the get-go that we can have nice things, we can do wonderful things, but we can't do or have it all. Nobody can do that.
Exactly. And in Proverbs 13:4, it says, a sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. So continue to be diligent, persevere, persistent, and grateful, and then comes through all that is greater satisfaction and well-being. You'll have a sense of fulfillment, reduce stress, right? And a sense of fulfillment fuels motivation, which encourages people to pursue their goals, take on new challenges, and continue to seek personal growth.
That's a lot.
Right?
Yeah, that's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in, Shay. That's a lot for us to have to, but sit on that, meditate on those words. And, that's the thing about all this. We can get through all this, and especially if we have help, which we do, because God is there to help us with all of this, He is there to help us succeed, and He wants us to succeed with us.
Truly does. If your financial goals align with the Bible and God will pave the way for you to be successful in achieving them. So He is there to support us. We're there to serve Him. We are stewards of this. We really are just managers. We don't own none of this. We own nothing. Because guess what? When we die, you can't, like my dad said, when you die, you can't take it with you. You really can't. You can't take you struggling and trying to get all this stuff, and then you die and you can't. You get in heaven, hopefully, and then you're there and you're like, I don't have none of that stuff. None of that. I'm just here. My spirit. That's it. I can't take none of that with me. And I was down on earth, worried about all this stuff.
Right.
and now I'm missing my family. Right. Hopefully you get to heaven, you don't miss your family. But you know what I mean? But like I should have,
Right. And you use your time for those things versus for the relationships that really matter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Wow. What a great episode. Any final thoughts?
I just say keep working towards your goals. And if you need help, there is help out there. And I bet you anything, somebody else who has the same goal as you, and you guys can help each other achieve them.
Exactly. And Crusaders for Change is here to help you, especially in the new year or any time of the year, to help you with your financial goals. And we're just here to support you. So thank you for joining us today. You can tune into current and future episodes of Yahweh's Money wherever podcasts are found, including Apple, Google, and Spotify. And remember, it's always better Yahweh's way. Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the crossroads of religion and money. Also, we would love to hear your feedback on today's episode, so please leave us a review or just tell us what's on your mind. And remember to follow our podcast. If you have any questions or suggestions of topics for us to discuss, please email us at yahweh@crusaders4change.org. To hear all of Yahweh's Money latest episodes, please visit us at www.crusaders4change.org or wherever podcasts are found. God bless.